What we believe together in our coaching philosophies is kind of riding those waves.
And we've kind of gone through that process, and we can help other people get through that.
Okay, so Rob, what made you decide you wanted to pursue a career in health and fitness?
It's pretty much been something that's been part of my whole life, ever since I was a teenager. I trained myself, I felt good myself, and I always got a feeling of accomplishment whenever somebody would come to the gym and ask me for advice, and I feel good about helping them. So I thought, you know what, it's time to see if I can kind of spread that word, spread that love to the masses, I guess.
Yeah, and that's kind of similar for me as well, because when I first started, I knew nothing, and I hired a trainer, and I got a lot of inspiration from that trainer. And when I was getting all this information, and I just wanted to share it with more people, so that way the people that came to me afterwards knew where to start. So I think it's really cool to have some sort of inspiring figure in your life when it comes to pursuing your goals of health and nutrition, because it is really hard to just pick up and start if you don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So that's kind of same idea. I just wanted to share my love for health and fitness and how it made me feel to other people the right way, right? Giving them the proper information.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it is we ourselves felt really good in doing it.
Yes.
So we've gone through the highs and the lows and the ups and downs, and we've kind of gone through that process, and we can help other people get through that as well.
And I think that there will be highs and lows for people all the time. And I think that that's one big misconception, is that everyone thinks that they have to see their fitness and their health goals and their journey go in a linear direction, whereas we know from experience it's an up and down. You got to kind of go with the ebbs and flows. And I think a big part of what we believe together in our coaching philosophies is kind of riding those waves and making sure that you're doing that so you're not giving up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you love most about what you do?
I love seeing people realize their potential and helping them to push through some of those struggles and some of those lows. And I love when people come to me after we've worked together or while we're working together and say, you know what, I'm feeling confident in this and I think I can do this on my own. So not actually relying on me. So being their stepping stone, but helping them to morph into somebody who's making this a part of their lifestyle.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Whenever I've got a client who comes in and they need some help with stuff, they're not sure, they're not confident enough to take the certain steps, or they just want to make sure that they know what they're doing before they get in over their head. I kind of see a little bit of myself in that. This is kind of our universe, so we're very comfortable here. So if we take it out to the real world in other situations, if I can kind of help people with what we know, I feel good about helping them with that stuff as well. So
what's something you would tell your younger self if you were just starting out going into your fitness and health journey?
I've thought about this a lot, actually, especially recently. I used to tell my clients every time we would work on mobility or making sure we were moving well, making sure we were moving safely. I used to tell myself that I would go back in time and tell myself to warm up a little bit more, to stretch and work on mobility a little bit more. But I think it's, the more I thought about it, it's kind of cheesy to say, but we're kind of formed by our experiences.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would go back to tell myself anything anymore. And the reason being is I've learned a lot along the way. And it's what I'm learning now is what I'm able to help other people with. So I think if I had kind of told myself back then and not had the experiences up to now, I wouldn't have that closeness to relate to people that are having these situations that come to me right now.
Yeah, I love that. And it kind of goes back into experiencing those highs and lows that we just talked about fitness and health and your journey, and that it's okay that you have some lows or you have some things that you maybe wouldn't have done, you're doing now, but you wouldn't have done before because it molded you into the person.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about you? Would you go back to change it?
Now that you say that, I feel like maybe what I experienced is exactly what I needed to experience to be where I am today.
Yeah.
But I guess one thing that I did think about is just allowing myself more balance and not having that all or nothing mentality. That for me is what I would maybe tell my younger self.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't have to be no days off, go all in. You can still make progress by having a little bit of flexibility. But again, because I was in that phase and I learned so much about what not to do when it comes to being all in,
Yeah.
now I can allow myself a little more flexibility. So I had to kind of learn from that experience, right? And learn what didn't work for me. Because some people are totally fine going all hard, all in. It doesn't affect them. For me, it was. It was something that affected me and my mental health.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's a really cool way to kind of look at it, in the sense that what you experienced when you were younger is maybe what you needed to go through. So I actually think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions in the health and fitness industry, is that you have to go to the extremes and you have to go all in and you have to cut out foods. And I think that we need more people to realize that it's not about any one certain diet or one way to do something where you have to do it 100%, 100% of the time, but it's about making those little changes and doing those things consistently. I think that that's more valuable, rather than telling people that you have to do everything all at once and overhaul your entire life to achieve your goal. And I think that that's a pretty big misconception in the industry.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And what do you think? What do you think is the biggest misconception in this industry now?
I think to your point of going in all or nothing, going 100 miles an hour, we're like bombarded with cover models and articles in there, like magazines and checkout lanes, social media, and even like businesses that are promoting stuff, marketing. Everything's quick and easy. You're going to get results right away. It's going to be super simple. With lots of exclamation points. But that's not reality, right? It all started way back, with, like I said, with the articles in the checkout lane. But now, as I've got my own business and I'm trying to do my own marketing, all of the courses that I've been taking, they really press upon quick sells or buzzwords, just to get people in, right? And like from the inside, that really bothers me, because I know that my clients are seeing that from other sources, and they're coming to me because they've been trying these quick fixes and they're not working, or they're getting hurt. And it's just, to me, it's the whole marketing of the fitness industry is a big misconception, in that it's not going to be fast, it's not going to be easy. It is slow, it is tough, but it can also be fun and empowering. So to me, that's the biggest misconception in the health and fitness industry, is that's quick and easy, and you have to go in all or nothing, otherwise you're never going to make any progress. It's not true. What do you wish for your clients?
Just overall health and wellness. And I know that kind of sounds very broad, but the reason why I say that is because health is not a one size fits all. You have to find your own healthy. And I think that also blends into not just the physical, but it also is the internal. So not just the physical external, but the physical internal, and then the mental and the emotional.
Yeah.
So I wish for my clients to find balance and to find their healthy. Because like you said about the misconceptions of the industry, we're fed all these, quick fixes, or one size fits all, or follow this meal plan, or do this, and this, and you're gonna get your results. But that might not work for everyone. So I hope to show my clients that they can find their own health and make it part of their lifestyle, and not follow somebody else's prescriptions for them blindly.
Right, yeah. To that, yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think we both want our clients to want to work with us, not have to work with us, right? So if we can kind of give them as much empowerment, tools, the skills that they need to find out whatever they need to find that suits them the most, that's our job. Right? We are not kind of their problem solvers. We are not their saviors, right? We're there to help and support. But if they want to come work with us, that's amazing, fantastic. But not because they have to, not because they don't have the skills. And if they didn't have us, they wouldn't be able to survive. And that's really what I want for my clients as well.
Yeah, and I think that's why we work so well together and why we wanted to pair up, because we share a lot of these similar messages.
Mhm.
And I think that, we need more people who are in this space to help people not need people who are in this space, right?
Right.
So I think that just our genuine desire to help is what makes us such a great team, I think.
Yeah.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's maybe just starting out in their health and fitness journey?
I definitely think that other than getting active, getting moving, I think developing some type of self-sufficiency, advocating for yourself is going to take you much farther than any trainer is going to do. And then if you can combine that with good coaching, who's going to help, unlock your own ability to find out what you need to do and find your own emotions, find your own motivations. I think that's going to be kind of a foundation you could use to then piece together any type of nutrition advice that you see, any type of exercise advice that you see. You're going to be able to kind of parse what works for you and what doesn't work for you, because right now it's all messy. Everybody's got advice. Everybody's saying this is the best thing, this is not the best thing. And I think if you're able to kind of, trust yourself to make decisions that are best for yourself, that's probably going to be the best, way to move forward.
Yeah, and I think I always kind of joke around and say the best advice that I could give you to get started is to just start. And to just do the little things, like even if it's something very small, like trying to drink enough water throughout your day, like very small things and tangible goals. And I really like what you said about coaching versus training, because I want my clients to come to me when they're having their struggles and when they're having their lows, because that's where the magic kind of happens, through the coaching through that.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you're going to a trainer, which, we both do, we're both trainers, we tell clients, do this squat, do a push-up, do a bicep curl, which is great. And it has obviously its value, but for people who are maybe just starting out, they need to be coached through the times when they're not feeling so great or they're not doing their best.
Right.
So I think that that's probably the biggest thing I would tell somebody is just start, find somebody who's going to help you through the lows and also going to help you and teach you to continue your journey rather than just tell you what you need to do.
Right. It's a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
We can't do our job if we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, what clients are thinking of, what they're dealing with. It's definitely a strong relationship that has to happen, a two-way relationship where we can work together to find out what's best for the client, for sure.
And just going back even to what I had said before about finding your healthy on all levels of your health, emotional, physical, your just total well-being. Coaches don't just look at, what's on your plate or did you exercise today? We're talking about what's going on in your life. What are you stressed about? Why is that stress or whatever's going on in your life hindering you from getting into the gym or hindering you from making a more balanced and healthy plate? So there's so much more to fitness and nutrition than just with the food that you eat and the exercises that you do.
Can you think of a client or a situation where that you were able to kind of help somebody through that, or that kind of planted that seed in your belief?
I think it actually started with me and
Okay.
realizing for myself that it doesn't have to be this way, and me working with a coach.
Yeah.
So I had hired a coach to work through those things, and the fact that I was able to change some of my mindsets working with this coach, again, was an inspiration for me.
Yeah.
And it goes back to when I first started my whole journey. I was working with a personal trainer, and that inspired me to want to learn more and to help people more. So I truly believe in coaching because I hire coaches for myself.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that I know it all, right? You have to outsource from different sources. Even if you're the most advanced person and you know all the basics of fitness and nutrition, sometimes it's just good to see an outside perspective and have somebody work through those limiting beliefs that you might have in yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think even as we coach and we train clients, when I first started training, I was a gym bro, bro sciencey guy mixed with some legit exercise science as well, right? But as I started training clients, I'll never forget this one client that I had. It was a Monday morning, and she came in, and I asked her how her weekend was, and I'm just kind of setting up some stuff on the floor, and she's telling me about it, how she had a dinner party, and she had gained 2 pounds apparently that morning. And as I'm sitting, setting the stuff up around, kind of facing away from her, I'm like, that's not how it works. You can't gain 2 pounds in a weekend. And I got up and I turned around and I looked at her, and she had like tears in her eyes. And I went, oh my God, this is like ingrained in these clients. There's a lot more emotion to it, and there's a lot more influence that I had realized, right? And that's kind of where I was like, okay, hang on a second. It's not all about lifting weights. It's not all about counting calories or managing calories in and calories out. There's a huge emotional aspect to this. And that's kind of where I went, okay, forget about lifting weights and eating well. It's like, okay, let's start being happy and managing that before we start, focusing on what kind of exercises we need to do, what kind of foods that we need to eat. And that was a big change for me. And that's kind of why I do what I do. So.
And I think it's really great that we were able to have this conversation today and just to share with people what we do and what we believe in. And like I said, it's very similar. We have very similar philosophies and core values. And I'm really glad to be working with you and
for sure.
See what the future holds.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.